Shut your eyes. Stop your ears. Bite your tongue if you should feel the slightest urge to question the world around you. What you might see, what you might hear, what you might learn will not enlighten you. It will not educate or improve you. It will only send you mad, gaping wild-eyed at the immateriality of your essential substance, the impermanence of everything you believe to be fundamental, all the unholy intrusions that you will most surely encounter at the unseen hour. In a certain deep and hidden part of the European continent, the venerable and decaying court of the omnipotent oligarchy and everlasting empire of the oldest overlords of Oscuritania. Uiu. A certain Squire Fourth Class has donned his armor of trusty tweed in advance of a fateful meeting with the ruler of his ailing kingdom.
Your Majesty, I appear here before you at your summons, trembling before your might. I trepidate to present my meagre person in the presence of your august excellentness.
Oh, no, I wouldn't say so terribly mighty, but Flem, my court jester of foreign affairs, can tell you more about that.
The kingdom is in peril! Our way of life is under threat! We've suffered years after years of failing crops, the seas rise, the war threatens on all sides, the skies are dark with smoke, the people are frail and weak, the world is out of balance and something must be done.
So, we'd like you to go on a quest with Sir Elmore the Stern. Won't that be nice?
To find the root of all civilization, the ancient lost city of Khahkhos. And fix everything so the peasants stop complaining and nobody's afraid anymore.
The ancient lost city of Khahkhos! The ancient lost city of Khahkhos! Never heard of it.
Nobody has. It is lost to the mists of time. Its existence came to me in a vision from God, I suppose. A great city over 8,000 years old, where the savage horde separated order and chaos and learned to live as men and women in harmony.
Your first stop might be the wise witch in the woods.
I was expecting this whole squiring thing to be more of a community service.
You certainly arranged some time in the dungeon.
On the other hand, I feel the call of the open road! Ha yes. Here we are, Sir Elmore! At the dingy shack of the hideous witch of the woods, Mama Yagchek.
Come out, hag. Show yourself.
Oh. Okay!
Right off the bat, I predict that, yes, you will find what you're looking for, but you, Sir Knight, you will perish horribly.
What about me?
You don't want to know.
What? Yes, I do! Easy.
Harridan, we seek the ancient lost city of Khahkhos, as revealed to our eminent and clairvoyant Queen Sob in a vision from God.
What's it worth?
Crown! You will be allowed to live! Laugh while you can, Harpy!
I have, and I will. And for being such an amusing little knight, and for your squire with his insecurities which are like his chest, which is to say comically oversized, I will direct you.
Well, that was uncalled for.
Travel now to the Fertile Crescent. At dawn, journey south from the place where the Tigris and the Euphrates meet, deep into the desert. As the sun drops behind the distant mountains, drink off this filter. Only then will you come to the gates of Khahkhos.
Nope.
Jolly good.
Witchcraft!
Oh, yes.
Yes.
What did you...
I'm a witch,
She's a
yes.
witch. So, yeah.
But where? Achtung! No good will come of disturbing the ancient city. The region is cursed, and by your interference you may doom it, and with it, the world.
And so, taking the powerful magic from the witch with contempt rather than thanks, and staunchly ignoring her warnings as any honest Christian must, Sir Elmore...
You're narrating us.
Just do the horse.
Right-ho!
Sir Elmore the Stern and his chicken-hearted squire ventured into the ancient deserts of the cradle of civilization.
And here we are. Potion time! Here's to ancient pagan magic and the fantastical hallucinations it will inevitably provoke!
Thinks it takes effect already. I begin to see a voice.
After my wife gave birth to our son, I began to see her differently. Not in a bad way. Some of the dads-to-be in our NCT class like to joke about how hard childbirth was for the father, about how the blood and guts might put you off ever laying a finger on her again. Some of the mums-to-be joked about that too, but for me, it was the opposite. The birth was a shock, for sure. I mean, I thought we were ready with our birth plan and our yoga breathing and all the tools of modern medicine on hand, but it really took me by surprise. The violence and the suffering and how close they both came to not making it. So many hours of sweat and sick and screaming, but above all, so much work. Well, I rubbed her back and offered her sips of water. She was working the way you'd work in a battle, a shipwreck, an earthquake. Work where you give all that you have because life is in the balance. She had a strength that I'd never guessed at. In the aftermath, the three of us lay half awake in the maternity suite at 4 o'clock in the morning, tender, dreaming, traumatized. It was a good trauma, much to be desired, because it fused us together in a new closeness, no longer 2, but 3 in 1. In those hours of labor, we were broken and remade so that love had a new shape and that now we would begin to learn. The days and nights that followed were a lot more lonely than I had expected. Mother and child had their own rhythm of wake and feed and sleep. They were a planet in themselves, and I could only wait in their orbit. Those evenings, I often found myself sitting alone at the kitchen table while the two of them slept in our bed. Nothing was more important than their sleep, safe sleep, as if sleep itself were a living thing, simple and sacred, that had lodged itself into our house and begun to grow. Sitting at the table, listening to the silence, I began to feel that something was growing inside me. Something that was about to be revealed, something that was ready to begin. That was a happy time. And then one night, painlessly, cleanly, it was born. Rain hissed beyond the bedroom window. The nightlight made a landscape of the covers, disordered where mother and child lay asleep in the bed. His breathing was nested inside hers. And as I watched them, a story revealed itself. I heard a voice in my ear. The first gods were the earth and the sky, said the voice. Sky came down to couple with earth, and she bore him a son. But Sky was afraid that his offspring would take his place. And so he forced the child back into the body of the mother, imprisoning him deep beneath the ground. This caused terrible pain to the Mother Earth. And so she made a plan. She took a flint and fashioned a sickle, which she gave to her son. With it, the son castrated his father. He flung the severed parts into the ocean. Where they fell, life sprung up, all the creatures of the earth boiling into existence. I watched the woman sleeping, curled around her child, and I knew that story was true. She was the source of all life. She was the world, the earth, and her name was Gaia. Now, I know this might sound a little delusional. I knew it at the time. As I stood at the bedroom door and watched over the landscape of their sleeping forms, I knew it. Once we had argued over something similar. It had been years ago, not long after we met, when we were discovering that this was it, that we belonged to one another and we were together for life. There was a night when it all came to a point. It was summer. It was her birthday. We'd been out. Our eyes were bright with wine, and the city was a constellation of lights, and it was all spinning around us. And I told her that, to me, she was more than a woman. She was a goddess. She was the world. She was everything. I thought this was the most romantic thing I'd ever come up with. But all of a sudden, she was furious. She told me that talking that way was nothing to do with her and everything to do with the blind male ego. It's so patriarchal, she said, making me a character in your personal myth. I apologized, but I never really understood what I'd said wrong. Only now, watching Mother Earth as she slept with our tiny, father-mutilating hero asleep in the curve of her body, was I beginning to understand. I saw why she had been so angry. How could Gaia not be angry with the male who imagines himself as husband of an entire world? It has never occurred to him that the earth is not his to possess. As he looks out at our mother planet in her boundless beauty, her endless giving, and he wants to control and exploit her. He wants to be her master. Is it any wonder that Gaia will teach her child that the father must be shown the error of his ways? I longed to lie down beside them, but there was no place for me in the bed. Quietly, taking care to close the door behind me, I walked out of the house. The rain was growing heavier, the sky itself pouring into the earth. No one else was out in it. I hung my coat on a fence post. I left my shoes and socks on a wall. Soon I felt the soil under my feet. Branches touched my shoulders. Leaves kissed my face, and the roar of the rain was a river. I walked into the darkness, a sorry exile. But then I began to laugh. How could I walk away from her when she was the globe beneath my feet? The rain churned the ground, dissolving the difference between earth and sky, and I knew that her generosity had no bounds, because I had been forgiven. There was a place for me after all. She was here, my world, my earth, my mother, my wife. I lay down on her breast and slept.
Ugh. Blech. Feels like the contents of my skull have separated into component humours.
Quiet, peasant! Behold the towering walls of the ancient lost city of Khahkhos!
And looming above, as tall as a whole stack of churches, as big as a cloud, a fearsome clay giant, bestriding the walls as if they were no more than much smaller walls. Its grisly visage only outmenaced by the monstrous goose, glaring down from atop its boulderous dome.
Yup, that's me, hello! Terracotta colossus of the ancient lost city of Khahkhos, carved from the stony desert floor itself, animated as a golem to preserve and protect the ancient secrets held within its walls, and imbued with the infernal, destructive powers of the dark realms that lie beneath this world. Only the pure of heart may enter. The unworthy must perish. Just a bit about me there, in case you were wondering.
Enough of this babble. I claim this ancient lost city of Khahkhos in the name of the omnipotent oligarchy and everlasting empire of the oldest overlords of Oscuritania.
What's happening to you?
Slowly incinerating, if you can't tell.
So that's what the goose does. Well, I'll just be toddling along.
No, you can come in. You're relatively pure of heart.
Oh. Well, if you promise not to incinerate me. Great heavens! I've never seen so many clay pots! Clay pots, ain't they pots, ain't they pots? A huge apparatus, an elegant ancient machine, all constructed from thousands of earthen clay pots.
Yep, it's a subtly different sound to that of horse hooves. Early society was more or less centered around the filling and emptying and trade of clay pots. These ones comprise the mechanism by which the fabric of your mortal reality is held together.
Welcome, Strideforth.
Who said that? How do you know my name?
I am the one you have been seeking.
Mother?
I am the spirit of the city of Khahkhos, the goddess of civilization. I am the beginning of humanity. Can I interest you in a pot of something? We have jam?
It's a bit old.
Maybe later.
You have come here, Strideforth, into the city of the unseeing eye, to set the world to rights. You hope to heal the limbs by changing things here at the deepest root. It is a fool's logic. You are meddling with forces you do not understand. Let what is strong stand, and turn your attention to what is out of balance.
Dash it, a riddle. And so Strideforth employs his considerable mental acumen to the salvation of the omnipotent oligarchy and everlasting empire of the oldest overlords of Oscuritania. Ooh. Let's see. Turn my attention to what is out of balance.
No, it is...
No, these pots over here look a little unsteady. Perhaps if I...
No, incinerate me.
Aha! Oh, whoops. Sorry.
Too late!
Did I fix everything?
No, you have caused profound upset in the equilibrium of the universe.
The Earth moves and loses its cohesion!
Damn!
The planet's crust splits apart, almost in the shape of a song by electronic noise wizard Odinn Hilmarsson.
Bear with me. This undoubtedly will not feature in the end product.
Oh, keep it.
Don't, Andy. Oh, shit. Maybe this will be good to hear.
Viewers at home, you can't see this, but I'm looking at him with a face that says, I will keep this in the end.
I beg you not to.
What's happening?
Hi, we didn't actually introduce ourselves. Hi, Brice. My name's Odinn. You definitely can't keep that in. No, sorry. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for bringing me your attention for this little while. My name is Odinn, and I enjoy manipulating sounds. And there's something that I would like to present to you. It's quite chilling, isn't it? A bit spooky. One thing that I really like doing is taking a sound and manipulating it in a way that it changes completely from its original form. And what I have here with me, for those of you who can't see, which is most of you, is a box with 25 piano keys and several buttons and 8 dials. And I've set the parameters of the effects on this sound. I've manipulated this sound to be very different with effects and all these manners of things, and I've set all of these things to this one dial here, that when I twist it, will change it completely into its original form. I will start to twist it now.
Odinn is really great. You should get to know him. He's actually Odinn is so fucking cool.
So that's quite fun. Yeah. So this is mapped across my entire keyboard. If I go up the keys, it goes up in key, in pitch rather. And it's also 2 notes in one, so when we play more than 2 notes, such as 2 notes on the keyboard, we're playing 4 notes. So let's play a triad and see where we go. And what I'd like to do for you, ladies and gentlemen, is present to you a tune with this, presented tunefully. With backing is what I mean, sort of with other stuff going on. Thank you very much for listening this far.
Really good.
Well, you've gone and done it now!
What is that foul stench?
It is the fetor of 8,000 years, the reek of those grotesque things that yet survive, feeding off each other's flesh in the dank interior of this globe. It is the whiff of death.
The pong of monsters!
If you will.
Do such loathsome horrors truly dwell in this cavern?
Do not approach it!
Absolutely not. No, sir. I wouldn't dream of it. And yet, I feel strangely compelled. What was that? Who's there? Ah!
yourself! Couldn't see the line. Show yourself! Oh, no. Hide yourself again. Immediately.
No, mate, it's too late for that. Door's open.
Oh, God! More rats, spider, apes.
Oh, yeah, we've been multiplying down here, breeding and cannibalising and breeding, you know.
Oh, yeah, I know. Isn't that always the way? If you'll just excuse me a moment,
Oh, but now we're free to go back up there.
Really? Jolly good. Fascinating.
To feast upon your soft, fleshy species and flood out across the earth.
Yes. Run away! No, that won't do at all. I'll just shift these pots back in the other direction. Damn! No!
Oh, honestly.
Sorry! Sorry.
Oh, I did say before that you had gone and done it, but now you have even to a greater extent than before gone and done it.
What are those horrid things? I must have lost my senses entirely. There cannot truly be snake-like bat eagles pouring in through a hole in the sky.
The cruel demons from above. The sky was set in place to keep them from you.
But no more. The shell of the sky is cracked, and the seal no longer keeps us from what is rightfully ours. The earth, and all that is on it.
Oh no! What have I done?
You have set in motion a new age of civilization. You have released sovereignty over the world and invited in the everlasting dominion of a superior authority. From this time forward, mankind will be indentured and live only to serve us.
Quickly, Strideforth! Come on, man! Think of something! Some way out! Some way to put things back to the way which they were!
Oh, grow up! There's no use moaning about it now.
What's done is done. Apocalypse means apocalypse.
Topical?
Grovel, fragile human, kowtow to your new masters and declare yourself the first of our slaves.
Even this attractive and durable Harris Tweed will be no match for our rows and rows of razor-sharp teeth. We will make you our first meal, and if all the humans prove to be as corpulent as this first, my brothers and sisters will feast! Apocalypse means breakfast.
Topical?
Things look bleak. Surely this is the moment when Strideforth will save himself and the entire human race with their civilization so fair, so measured and admirable.
Leave him, Featherstone. He is ours. Everything is ours.
Up yours, Grick! It's every prehistoric, pre-human demon monster for itself, and we'll take what we can get!
Ah! Oh, they're claws! Oh! Oh! Oh, no! Oh, oh! Oh, their fangs! Their beaks! Their... Oh, no! No, their hooks! Their rich mandibles! I'm being torn apart! Ah!
So, Strideforth is torn to pieces. Strideforth is torn to pieces. Then the world. Victim to its worst demons from above and below. The terrors that gird our world, the rock and hard place of human civilization, between which our fragile culture perches, forever on the brink of collapse. As we, blinkered and hooded, piece it together again and again over our long history, ever willfully blind to the inevitable advent of the unseen hour. We hope you have enjoyed The Unseen Hour, Episode 4, Secrets of the Lost City of Khahkhos. It was recorded live at the Rosemary Branch Theatre in London, England, by Andy Goddard. It was performed by Brice, Stratford, Joey Timmins, and James Carney, and featured a monologue written by Sam Thompson and performed by Greg Lockett. The musical guest was Odinn on Hilmarsson. Theme music by The Unrecorded. Some of the props were kindly loaned to us by the Fitzrovia Radio Hour. The Unseen Hour is created, written, and produced by James Carney, with sound production from Andy Goddard, and it was brought to the Rosemary Branch Theatre by Scarlett Pluviers Comnes, Genevieve Tarico, and Anja Kulesa of Unattended Items. We all look forward to seeing you here again at The Unseen Hour. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you in the park.